Hey guys, Agent Cyder here with another Division video, and this time I'm going to be looking at ways that we can actually make some builds in 1.8. So we're obviously talking about the classified gear here. Now this will be the first in a series of videos, but I just want to stress the point to start with that the reason that I haven't called this the best way to make these builds is because with a lot of them there are actually several ways that you can make these builds up now. Okay, so I refuse to call any of these builds the best because there isn't the best build. There is certain ways that you can make these builds which do bring out the best in them, but there are no best ways to do it. Okay, so the first build which I'm going to show you is the D3 build, so the defense build, 6-piece classified. And if any of you are regulars to the channel, it's the one which this morning I put the video up of solo Falcons Lost. So just goes to prove how powerful this build actually is. And there's several things will actually give you that power, which we'll get into shortly. So if you haven't seen that video already, I'll put a link up in the description, which is a solo run on World Tier 5 Heroic Falcons Lost. Okay, so it is a very strong build. Okay, so let's get straight into it then. So like I've already said, it's the 6-piece defense, so you should know what these builds do by now. So this one's certainly built around the shield build. A lot of the builds which we used to use, Sentry Shield for example, they haven't been totally destroyed, but the defense build certainly brings out the best in the shield. Okay, so it is the 6-piece defense, and the way that I've built it up, if you have a look in the description, for the 6-piece, yeah, we get 2000% extra melee damage, overhealing is applied to our shield and things like that. But the main bit here is when you get to 9000 stamina, ballistic shield health is increased by 200%. So it's not tied to your electronics anymore. The other bits which do give us a buff, once we've absorb so much damage, we get an increased armor or an increased weapon damage. So depending what type of damage the shield has taken, we do actually get a buff off it, and it is quite a strong buff actually. So the way that I've built mine then, as you can see, I've got 9000 stamina here. You can, if you so desire, go up to 120k skill power, and that will again increase your shield health. Because it acts as a 1.5 modifier, I think it is. But I'm sure if that's incorrect, someone will correct me on it. Just to show you what the 9000 skill power actually does, 9000 stamina does. It gives us a 1.7 mil health shield. Yeah, so that's the strength of shield what I had on earlier. Okay, so going through the roles what I've got then. Obviously stamina, I don't think I didn't optimize any of this gear, so it is, it's pretty much base stats, or as high as I could get them without optimizing anything. So again, that just shows you how strong this build actually is. So the vest itself, get stamina roll, health on kill, enemy armor damage and ammo capacity. 2 firearms mods with skill haste on. Those are the only 2 mods where I've got skill haste on, and I'll go through why I put them on a little bit later in the video. The mask, enemy armor damage to elites, and again roll for stamina. Firearms and health mod on that one. Knee pads, yeah, so the main bits what we're looking for there is damage to elites, and the stamina roll there. Skill power rolled onto there, and the firearms one I think. Firearms and health, yeah. And this gets us onto our first mods that we've got here. So ballistic shield health, ballistic shield damage on the knee pads, and it's also on the holster as well. So I've rolled it for reload speed, and the mod on there is also ballistic shield damage. The backpack, a stamina mod with damage to be leaks on, that was just to get me over the 9,000 barrier. And then 2 damage resilience mods, so 5% damage resilience mods there. The gloves, SMG damage, because obviously it's an SMG build, 6% chance and 15% damage. And again, max roll on the stamina. So that's the gear what I was using. The assault rifle, yeah, lightweight M4 with destructive, predatory and responsive. And the house, destructive, predatory and card counter. So the reason I was using predatory, I mean it's a tier 1 talent now, definitely, because the heals, unless you're running, you know, massively high skill power or massively high electronics, your heals aren't particularly going to be very good. So I'll go through the talents that I've got shortly, but with predatory being a percentage heal, I know it's over time, but it's 35%, so it is an enormous amount, coupled with the health on kill which I've actually got. So over 20 seconds I actually get 40% of my health back. So that's why I was using that. If we just have a look at the mods which I had, I mean, I'll only go through the house. This is the main weapon that I was using. So C79, you know, it's all pretty much standard gear for an SMG. So crit damage, headshot damage and chance, rate of fire. Yeah, I only used that underbarrel because it's the max one I've got, 20% crit damage. I haven't actually had another one which has had that high crit damage on it. And then pretty much standard loud vent brake on the front. So that's the weapon that I was using. So the skills and talents, so obviously the shield, it doesn't matter which shield we put on, it's all going to be the same. So 1.7 mil hit points. If you go 120k skill power, you actually get a 2.3 million shield health. But as you saw off the Falcon Lost video, it isn't particularly needed. Certainly not on that gameplay. What I'll actually do here is I'll break from the video here and just show you a quick section of Stolen Signal that we actually run on the last global event, which had strike activated on it. And I'll show you the end scene where you have to stand in front of the guy pressing the button behind you to set the pyrotechnics off, and I'll just show you how little damage minigun was actually doing. The only NPC which actually did some serious damage was Bobcat when he came out. So just show you a small clip of that gameplay now.
Got the front one. Okay, I think it'll be alright.
Gotta figure a way to get him out.
Rear, left.
It's the pyro now in the middle, isn't it?
Oh shit.
Coming in through the back door again.
He's blue again, he's blue again.
Okay, so that gameplay there just showed you how strong the 1.7 mil shield was, but then obviously Bobcat came out and he absolutely decimated the shield. Even if I'd had the 2.3 million hit point shield on, he would have still taken it down within a matter of probably 3 or 4 seconds, I would have thought. So that's the shield that I was using. I actually had an immunizer box down when I was doing the gameplay earlier. Reason for that, mainly for, it wasn't for particularly healing me, because as you can see, the heal actually only gives us sort of 2,000 hit points per second, which is a very minuscule amount. Main reason that I had that on was just to stop me getting shocked by the drones when they do come out. So that's the reason that I had that on. Coupled with Predatory, the idea was that as long as I got a kill, Predatory would be able to get me up to full health, and then if I put my immunizer box down and pop it straight away, that would obviously give me an overheal, which in fact healed my shield. So that's the way that I was actually healing the shield up quite regularly without using medkits. It did all get a bit panicky towards the end. I did eventually run out of medkits, but we did get there. So that's the skills what I was using. The talents, the absolute critical one what you need here is Combat Medic, which is using medkits near allies, heals the group members and proxies within 20 meters by 40%. So obviously didn't have any group members with me on that run, but the proxies heals my shield by 40%, which is an absolutely enormous amount. The other talents I've got, yeah, Strike Back. One is none I really do like, because it's such a stable build. You can absolutely nail the headshots, and you know sometimes you end up with maybe 100 rounds in the magazine in effect because of this 50% chance of not consuming the round. And on the move, kill a hostile while moving, increases damage resistance by 15%. So going through all the stats then, so we've got 17k normal weapon damage, 35% chance, 109 damage, and 62% headshot damage. There is a little bit of reload speed on there, so that takes us down to 2 seconds for a reload, which is pretty decent. Obviously 12% SMG damage from the gloves, 30% damage to elites, 28% enemy armor damage. A lot of that comes from having destructive on the house. 5% health on kill, so again that adds to our predatory. So over time we actually get 40% back over time. Skill haste I wasn't particularly too bothered about. It is nice to have the box coming back a little bit quicker, just so that when I do need that overheal, or when I apply the overheal, it actually goes on the shield. So in theory, as long as I get a few kills off, or get a few kills with predatory going, we should be able to be at full health most of the time. So putting the box down will actually help us heal the shield as well. Okay, so another thing which of course the defense build does give us is a big protection from elites. So there you go, 30% protection from elites, and also the shield itself gives us damage resistance of 35%. That's 65% damage resilience from elites, which is a huge amount. I mean, if you was to put some numbers on that, just as an example, let's just say the enemy was supposed to do 100k of damage. We already lose 31% of that ish because of the armor, so that takes it down to 69k, and then minus another 65%. When the enemy is supposed to be hitting us for 100k, they'd only be hitting us for sort of 24k, something like that. So it is a huge amount of damage resistance, that. Okay guys, so that's the build that I came up with. So just to recap, it is the 6-piece defense build with 9,000 stamina, which gives us a 200% shield health. And like I've already said, you can run some extra skill power, up to about 120k skill power. That will give you extra shield health. But from my experience so far, it's not particularly needed. So the 1.7mm shield does the job absolutely brilliantly.